How's it going, everybody? My name is Ryan45678 and welcome back to the 1976 Honda MR175 Elsinore. In the last few videos we've been trying to get everything ready to get this bike ready to run. If nothing else, just to cure the paint on the cone head cylinder right here, because it needs to be cured. The next step in that process is getting the top end put back together. I'm excited. I've honestly, in the back of my mind this whole time, had the thought of like, I'm never gonna finish this. But that is just proving that that's not true. At least as far as we've gotten so far. So basically, there's a couple things I need to do first. I need to put the cylinder studs back in, which I should have never taken out. I shouldn't have. And I was worried about this little seam right here because it's kind of right here. There's gasket up to the base. Here I can put my fingernail in there. I think it'll be okay. I thought about going to the store and getting some gasket maker, but I'm pretty sure the other gasket, the one on the base, will kind of squish into that, and there's already enough there, and it's not a super high pressure area. Like, it's not compression on it, it's just pressure to suck in the fuel, but I think it's going to be fine. So the studs are going to be, I think, the trickiest part here. The threads are not the greatest, and I don't have a tap to go in there to clean them up. Obviously I'm not going to do that with the bike already assembled and open like that. So these are they, them, it, zzz. So the big threads go in there. The thing I was thinking about doing was using the old ones that are still good, because I took out 3, but I don't know where I put them, so that's kind of a slight problem with that plan. But anyway, to install these, you basically just take 2 nuts. I'm going to get a washer or a lock washer or something. I think this one will work, yep. And then you just tighten the 2 nuts against each other and tighten it. This is the same thing. That's how these open. Sure. That's the same thing that we did to get these off. Again, I really wish I hadn't done that, because I had to buy some and they're like the only ones available. So yeah, I'll take these out really quick. Really, from what I've read, you're not supposed to put these on with grease or anything, because it will mess up. Well, they're supposed to be a tight fit, and you don't want them slipping out at all. 13. So you pretty much kind of have to use a wrench on one of these. There's really no option, just because, I mean, you're not going to be able to get a socket in there. So basically, I don't know how tight these need to be. Pretty tight. It's on a washer. Actually, I could, if I found a lock washer, I could use that, but this is going to be good enough. Actually, that is a lock washer, or it's at least a washer with a slot cut in it. So put these in. Yeah, I think these bottom out. So just reverse these steps to take the nut off. Don't drop it in the engine. Actually went in surprisingly easy. Cool. Next. I think had some a little bit messed up threads. That's good. Yep. It's hard to tell. That one goes down a little more. Not much. Yeah, that's good. Cool. Yeah, looks like it's pretty much all the way in. Alright guys, this is the exciting part. We'll start with the piston, but first we will get these dowel pins in. These are alignment pins, and they go in to make sure the thing is aligned, basically. So they should pretty much sit in there pretty flat. Honestly, this one looks like it's not in all the way. So I'm gonna see if I can fix that really quick. Yeah, I'm thinking it's supposed to be that way, or maybe it's just not that this pin isn't seating all the way. But because I'm cranking on it as much as I'm willing to do, and it's not coming any further. So I think it's fine. I think maybe this one is just inherently like that. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm not messing with that. I'm not gonna do any other nonsense with over tightening. So basically, we're gonna get the piston on there, which is a few different things we gotta do. We gotta get the rings on there to start, and we'll follow the service manual for that. Cool, so the first thing we need to do is cut this beautiful Honda seal and check the piston end ring gap. There is a spec for that in the manual. Let's see. These apparently also have a certain way they go. One is top, one is bottom, I'm not sure which. I think it's pretty obvious which way each one goes because you see that bevel right there? You can't really fit it in that way, so to match up with that little notch, it has to go that way. The other one, same thing. Yeah. Anyway, until I figure out which ring is which, we're just going to measure the ring end gap and make sure it's good. It should be between 0.2 and 0.4 millimeters. So I don't know why, but in the manual it shows them doing it on the bottom side. So I'm going to do that. So I should probably use some oil for this, so I'm going to do that. I'd rather do that just because I don't like the idea of not having oil when I put something metal on metal. And what I've seen people do, you do that. I guess that makes sense why you would do it this way, because you can put it in there, and that ring does not want to go. That ring looks too big almost. No, okay, it's perfect. So in the manual they had it down like here, but you can take you take the piston, use it to push the ring down. Take the piston because it'll fit in there a certain way and flat. There we go. That way you know it's exactly how it's going to be when it's in the engine. So 0.2 to 0.4 millimeters. Alright, so I got a 0.2 millimeter feeler gauge. See if I can put it in there. Yeah, there's room. And the 0.4 probably won't fit, would be my guess. No. So let's see how far it'll go. Let's try 0.23 just just to see. Does not fit, so it's pretty much exactly, there we go, okay, 0.23. 0.25, let's try that. Almost. Not quite. So that's perfect. That ring is good. Whichever one it is, I have no idea, to be honest. Okay. Next ring. I guess it probably would have helped if I put it facing the right direction. The other one too, but maybe I did, I don't know. So let's put the piston down in there. Push it down flat. There we go. That looks about the same. So let's get our 0.2. Yep, perfect. 0.23. Barely. 0.25. A little bit. I don't know why there's two 0.25s. Barely. 0.28. No. Okay, so it's a little bit slightly different than the other ring. Don't know why. Alright, so I could not find any markings on these to tell me which one is what. Wait a minute. I do see an N. I don't know why I didn't see that before, but there's an N and a 2.5 because that's a 1/4 millimeter oversize. So this one has got to have something as well. It also has an N. I don't know what that means. But this one on top has slightly smaller end gap. So, and for that's what I've heard is with compression rings, the smaller end gap is usually the compression ring. And if they are the same, which is kind of weird if they are, but they look exactly the same, then that's what it is. There's no T or anything saying top. Also, really quick before we continue, I didn't know what that hole was for. Apparently it's an oil hole. So I'm going to use it for that. I don't have anything to really do it, so I'm just going to take my finger, kind of let it drip in there. It's probably the worst way to do it. I don't know what this Yamalube stuff is made of, but it smells good. Just really weird for two-stroke oil, I guess. Anyway, that's good enough. And it's purple. Like, not blue, it's purple. Alright, so back where we left off, I was figuring out which ring was what. Basically, the one with the smaller end gap was the compression ring. I mean, not 100% sure on that, but that they look exactly the same. Even though the manual says to get that one's a keystone ring, they both look like freaking keystone rings. So I'm going to put them in where they go. This one's the top one, from what I could tell. This one should be the bottom one. So what we'll do is what I've seen people do is you put it in the groove. Obviously, it's pretty obvious which way it goes up for this one because of the pin. But you put it in the groove, start kind of shimmying it around. At least I'm hoping it'll be that easy. They make it seem really easy. Yeah, you kind of just wiggle it. Yeah, you don't want to damage the rest of the piston, or the piston I mean. So at the end we'll have to be careful not to scratch if we can help it, but it should just kind of pop right in. So we get this one situated in that top ring, and since it's actually goes on the bottom, we just kind of move it down, and then do the same thing. Just, I think that's what people were saying you could do. That may not work so well in practice, because that's kind of seems stuck. No, you just have to pull in the right part of the ring, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't seem to like such a good way to do it, really. The more I think about it. So, if I can get, I can just start it down in there, and then pop this second half over it at the same time, maybe? Move all my stuff out of the way. See if I can maybe just pull it enough to just pop the whole ring down. There we go. That should hopefully do it. Hopefully without stabbing myself. I might have to open it up some more. Yeah, that's not going to work. Try one more time. Just let it drop if I expand it on the other side. There we go. That does work. Okay. And then you got to make sure it's lined up on the pin. Definitely make sure it's on there when you put it on. Next ring, same thing. Make sure we got it facing the right way. Start it in the groove. Just start it in there. Just kind of work it around. Keep the ring on top of the piston so you don't scratch anything. And should just pop right in there. Perfect. Looks good to me. Cool. So those rings are in there. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to keep this on that camera because it's more detailed. I'm going to put one of the circlips in for the piston wrist pin. That's so you don't have to worry about that while it's on the engine. And so this piston goes this way. From the manual, these things go in the back, whatever notches, whatever. So I'm going to start with the other side. And usually what you want to do is you want to get it in there, put this side in, and get this side lined up with that little remover thing, so that way you can just take a screwdriver and go, and it goes right in. So I'm going to do that really quick. I'm going to just stick it in there. Try to get as much as I can without scratching the piston. Like I kind of am doing. Yeah, I don't like that. It's harder than I thought. Just kind of squish it down a little bit. That's not quite in there. I feel like that's going to go flying across the room if I'm not careful. Yeah. Okay, that's in the groove, so I'm going to use a screwdriver now. A little one. Which I think this one will, this is too big. Needs to be one like one of these. And then you hold on to it real tight and just use the screwdriver to pop it in there. And that didn't pop in. There we go. Maybe that's what you do, is you line up this, kind of roll it in there, and then you can take that, kind of shimmy it so more of it gets into the groove, and then start to, no. It has to be pretty set in there, and you do have to hold it down pretty good with your finger. Here. It keeps coming up, so maybe pushing down on the other sides with the screwdriver would help. pushing down to get it in there better. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not good at this. Here. It's popping in. It's almost in there, and there we go. So right across that little opening, that's what you want. And that's good. So that's one circlip in. Definitely don't try to put the other one in yet. Man, they kind of scratched the piston a little bit. Not much, but a little. I think it's fine. I think it's just surface stuff. So the next thing to do is we need to install the bearing and put the piston on there. So remember, the piston goes this way, these little things facing that way. Alright, and then we're going to lube up the area where the bearing goes. Pretty good with some 2-stroke oil, and also the bearing itself, as well as the inside and the outside. That should be good. And we'll stick the bearing in there. And we need to get our wrist pin, which I did get a new one. It's right here. Dang, that thing is shiny. So we get some oil on that. Lube it up real good. And take our piston, put the pin in part of the way. Yeah, probably need to put some oil in that too. Oh wait, that's the side with the circlip. That won't work because, okay, I'm not as stupid. I forgot that I put it on that side that I was trying to install the pin on the same side that I put the circlip on, because that's just the way I thought to do it, or the direction I thought to do it. So slide that in, only a little bit, put it over the crankshaft, and it's kind of a little game of a little bit of guesswork to try to figure out where exactly it goes, but it should go in there. It wants to. Let me make sure that it actually fits. Yeah, it does. Probably would be nicer if we didn't hold the piston or the connecting rod at an angle. If we just let it. Hang on, let me get this back in there. If you held this straight up and down like that, and then actually put it in where it needs to go, and all the way down. There, almost. So close. It just does not want to completely go. I guess maybe we could look. Yeah. Look at that. Aim right for it. Right for the middle. There we go. It's in, and we'll let it hit the other end with the circlip. Just kind of let the piston rest here for a second. Wipe my hands off, because they be dirty. And then we can put the other circlip in. Should be the same process, just be very careful not to get that in the engine. Don't want that to happen. So same thing, just kind of line it up on the other side. It's a little harder because I got oil all over my fingers now. And the piston is moving. Okay, so if I got it this far, I'm going to see if just prying a little bit and pushing down will help. Like that. There we go, that's getting it in there a little better. And then if I can hold on that really well, while also prying, although you just push it, because it's almost in. Oh, I kind of pushed it in like that, so that's about good. If it'll pop in, if I press, yeah, see, I didn't get this quite lined up this time. Oh, there, that end is in the pin now, or in the groove. So if I pop it, it should go right in. If I can pop it. There we go. Perfect. It is snapped in. I didn't quite, I should not do that. I didn't quite get it totally lined up in the groove, so I'll see if I can, I wouldn't worry about it. We can worry about it if we ever have to take this off. Let's check the other one. Sorry, I know you can't see that, but that is installed properly. So the piston kind of moves, I guess. I don't know if it doesn't sound like very much oil, but I got as much as I could, so I think it's okay. And it's supposed to get oil from the gas anyway. Man, why is it bearing that way? Is it supposed to be stuck that far in? Huh, that's weird. I don't know if you can see that, but the bearing is like, I mean, there's lots of wiggle room in the piston. Is it supposed to be that way? I really don't know. Alright, cool, so that's good. The only issue, I don't know if you can see it, is, and it's not right now, but the bearing right there, it wants to walk. So I've got it kind of lined up to where it should be where the cylinder goes over the piston. I'm not really sure what to do about that, if it's just going to line up if it lines up or what, but I'm going to see about getting the cylinder on at least over the rings for now, and if I can, in making sure that it's going to stay how it's supposed to be. Obviously we need to get these rings lined back up. They didn't stay lined up. There we go. And then get the piston lubed up. As well as the cylinder in a second. I mean, it's already got a little bit on it, but I want to slather it in oil for the install. Okay, let's flip it over. There we go, that's good. Alright, let's hope this goes smoothly. Obviously make sure you get the exhaust port on the right side. You don't want to put it on upside down. Okay, let's do this. So it should just kind of slip over. I'm going to get that over, avoid happy accidents. And then we should be able to compress the ring. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on the good camera, but compress the ring, compress the other ring. It should kind of wiggle on. I don't want to force it. It's going somewhat. this ring is kind of sticking up, so there we go. It's on the first ring. It's on the second ring. There we go. I probably should have put the piston over it first. There we go. Get these lined up. Yeah, okay, so the piston wants to go this way. I'm going to get this lined up where it's going to go drop on, just like that. And I'm not going to drop it on yet. It's precarious. Anyway, I'm going to kind of, let's see. It's not quite straight yet. There we go. There we go. Before we let that go too far, I'm going to make sure the bearing is on there good. I think it's on there straight, from what I can feel. I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, I feel the edge of the bearing, and it's right there, so I think that's going to be good. And I forgot the freaking gasket. I'm an idiot. So we can't do this right now. That's not a good thing to do either, but that's what I get for being in a hurry. Anyway, put the base gasket on, but now we know where the piston sits at least. So here's the base gasket. It goes, don't know if it matters which way or which direction. Let me try this way, yeah. Looks like that should do it. Okay, second time should go a little bit easier. Should we get on the dowel pins, just like that? And that's perfect. Let's try this one more time. Yeah, so let's do this again. Compress the first ring. Like that. Second ring over the pin. Make sure I had that right. I don't know why I second guessed myself. There. Drop it on again. We need to not let that go before the piston goes all the way in. So you need to kind of push the piston up into there. As long as I haven't let it go too far, which I may have. There we go. It goes on. Perfect. Just needs a little bit of coaxing to go on all the way, I think. It's just not straight. There we go. Right. It's probably the gasket catching, to be honest. That looks like pretty good, so, except, there we go, it's just catching a little bit on that dowel pin. Dang, that's awesome. It's on. Top end, I mean not completely obviously, but the piston and everything and the cylinder is on. Let me get the Kickstarter on really quick. Well no, I don't want to do that yet because that's going to pop the thing off. So let's get the head on. I think that is our next step. Cool. I use this rubber mallet to prop it up. I've done that before, I think. Cool. Let's put the head on. I already have a spark plug in here, but it was just to get be able to take the head off without damaging the paint. Dang, look at that. That looks so good. I know it's hard to see on the good camera, so I'll probably use the GoPro, but look at that. It's so good. It looks nice. You have no idea how happy I am about this. It makes it look big. Like the nice new paint on the cylinder and stuff makes the engine, or that part of it, look big. So let's get some, yeah, let's get a head gasket on there. Don't want to forget that. I totally wasn't going to do that. Also, if you can see, this this mark came out really well. It's not too bad, so let's just slap a head gasket on there. I don't know which, well obviously it's not that way. It's probably this way. Yeah, there we go. Head gasket on. Ding ding, round 2. Let's put this head on for real this time. Gotta find the pins. There we go. Perfect. And then I'll just put these head bolts on by hand. Man, the last time I've even seen this engine in this shape was when we were getting the stupid stuck head bolt off, and it was so bad. There we go. Just kind of had to pop it this way because it's still pretty loose, just to get it to be in the right position. So I'll get all these just kind of put in by hand first, and then we'll tighten them down. I think it's either 14 or something. I can't remember. The only thing about these is when I got the rust and junk off of them, I put some stuff in here, like a rust remover, and I think some Gibbs oil. So I know you're not supposed to oil these kind of things. This one has dirt in it. I mean, I'm going to retorque it once I run the engine anyway, because I know you're supposed to do that, so I think it'll be okay. I don't like that having dirt. Ugh. I really don't like the dirt in those, but it's what I got, and I'm honestly really anxious to get this thing back together. So, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not water and mud, and it's a dirt bike. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to get in the engine because that hole is pretty much sealed. I mean, unless you opened it up again. And that's the other thing. I already got dirt in there from not realizing there was dirt to begin with. So it's not going to change anything for the better if I went and cleaned them. Now these are, I think it was 12 to 18 foot-pounds. I'll have to double check really quick. But I will torque them. And like I said, once the engine's been run a little bit, I'll torque them again. See, this one is the one that's going to be tough. If there's a head bolt that comes, that doesn't come loose easy, next time this has to be taken off, it's going to be this one for sure. So I'm going to take it out and then put it in again, just for the sake of it. I mean, I don't know if it's actually going to help, but hopefully it just makes it not so caked on mud. Yeah, I'm going to do that again once it gets to the bottom, just to loosen it up. That's usually what you do with like rusty stuff. If you get it to move at all, usually it's tightening it first, if you're trying to remove it, and then you just go back and forth like that. So that's pretty easy. So I'm gonna prop this up some more. Put the mallet underneath there, and then I'm gonna tighten these up by hand pretty much all the way, and then I'm gonna torque them. I dented the paint already. Gotta be careful. Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Okay. Let's grab the torque wrench. Alright, so it's actually 15 to 18 foot-pounds, so I'll start with 10 just to be on the safe side, which I think should be pretty easy. So that might actually be too much to start with. I'll tighten these until I feel resistance on the torque wrench, because that's a lot more leverage than I had before. Yep. Yeah. So we'll do till we get to 10. There we go. We'll get this one to 10. See, these are honestly not that tight. I mean, I know it's just 10 right now, but still. That's not a lot considering some of our stuff is like 25 to 30-ish. Okay. Make sure they didn't creep. Nope, okay. So we'll go up to 15. That might even be pushing it a little bit, so. It's not much more, honestly. Just a little bit. Trouble child. There we go. Yep. We are 15. I'm going to call that good. Yeah, that looks absolutely fine to me. I'm going to call 15 good right now. It's within spec, and some of these bolts were a little bit wet with grease potentially. Although, let me go one more, just 16, just to be safe, and then we'll call it good. And that's it, and then we'll retorque if necessary later. Yeah, see, fit one more is not that much more, and it might be overkill. And some of these were already at that, even just torquing to 15. They had already kind of made their way to, oh, you know what? That's the new stud, I think, going in further. Maybe. But anyway, that's 16 foot-pounds. And the head bolts are on. Yeah! Don't forget to reset the torque wrench to 0.